$3, 7 of these is nothing.
So I apologize in advance because, well, for starters, that asshole who's pretty much at the end of the show, and you're all ready to get out of here, and I'm dragging it out. And also because this was kind of an impulse decision for me during intermission, just for kicks. So yeah, this is just stuff off the top of my head. I live in Sunbury, and as much as that sucks, there's one amazing thing about it. You see, I love the fact that I can wake up pretty much any morning, step outside, and just take a nice deep breath of the despair. You just sit there and just let it emanate, through your lungs. And despair has a smell. It smells like a combination of burning rubber and raw sewage. And I absolutely love that about this town. It makes you feel so much better about everything else in the world. So, let's try this tactic. So, this is a bit unusual, but I breed exotic critters. I work with all sorts of things, scorpions, lizards, whatnot, you name it. And I'll often be at these expos that attract weird people like myself to kind of gawk at these things and buy them sometimes. And the thing that always gets me is, I'm here and a lot of these people are somewhat experienced with this stuff. It's something they've been around a lot. And I'll have like giant millipedes or something weird like that. And people look at them and they'll say, well, what do they do? And, how do you answer a question like that? Like, my default response is always something to the effect of, well, they eat, shit, and they fuck. What else do you expect me to say in response to that? I mean, that pretty much sums it up, that's like what anything does. In light of it being Halloween, I understand, every parent out there has this kind of omnipresent fear of kidnapping. And it's a thought that lots of, people have, and I understand the statistics are like 4 times greater of, violent crimes or whatever shit happening, because of it being Halloween. But I've always said, ever since I hit the age of reason, which I don't know when that was, I would let someone kidnap me if they gave me really good candy. Really good candy, though, I'm not talking like candy corn or like, what the hell are those like 500 grand bars? No, I'm talking like Reese's or Three Musketeers, Like, that would be so worth it. I mean, for a few hours anyway. After that would kind of get old and, kidnapping would probably have its cons. But, at least the candy would be good. So, I'm really fond of Chinese food, and I'll often go to the buffets. And I used to frequent China House quite a bit. All sorts of food there, and I mean, granted, its freshness is always questionable at best. But, I used to sit there and I'd always flirt with these really, really hot Chinese chicks who could speak a little bit of English at best. But it was kind of a win-win. I could learn a few, like, convenient Chinese words and phrases, and, I'd also feel good about myself while I was doing this. So, and that kind of left me blind to, like, all the other activity. And one day, like, I was there, and there wasn't really anyone I knew working. Just shoveling food into my mouth like everyone else there. And I looked around, and I really started to hate that place pretty quickly, because I just noticed everyone there, they love the food. They love it so much that it's literally like their hands are fucking shovels. And they're just like, there's just this endless system of just like the food being transported to their mouths. And it's really quite miraculous that people can do that. But with Chinese food, you see these people that like, they need so much food just to sustain their bodies. But they're still there, 6th, 7th, 8th plate, and just, it's impressive, really, to say the least. So, when I was 16, 17, I had my first serious relationship, and, sex was first on the table. You know, my parents tried to like breach the subject of, you know, are you sexually active? A very legitimate question and one probably worth asking. So, you know, my mom, I guess, was the big one who made the push for this. And she kind of tried to approach it a little bit more subtly. Just like, so Ian, I kind of have the suspicion that you might be. And I already had a contingency plan for this. You know, because you have to nip it in the bud before it gets any worse. Like right off the bat. So, I went into the most explicit details about what was happening in my sex life. Like full details, because, you know, like no parent wants to hear that. So I'm like, yes, we are having sex. It is so amazing. And just way, way overboard, you know. We do not wear condoms. It is amazing. The other night, this and this happened, and this happened, and you know what? The sex talks ended. That never happened again. So, for my full-time job, I do a lot of service work. I'm inside lots of people's houses. You know, and basically my job encompasses every disgusting, unpleasant thing inside of a house or business. That aside, that's not the point of this diatribe. So, you know, it's Central PA. I'm in a lot of houses where there are animal heads on people's walls. And I understand it, you know. They went out in the woods at 5 o'clock in the morning, they shot this thing, they killed it, they want to show it off to everyone. I understand that, you know, you want a trophy and whatnot. But here's the thing that I never really got, you know, like, you know, I'm in their house doing whatever I have to do. And there's this like fucking deer head that's like twice the size of my head just staring at me. And I'm there, just doing my thing, looking at him.
Bless you.
He's looking right back at me. And we're kind of having this awkward moment. You know, where we're like, it's kind of like a bond, but it's weird. You know, because there's this just dead animal head on their wall that they're trying to show off to people. And this whole time, the thing that I'm really thinking is like, you know, you walk into a serial killer's house, you see human heads on their walls. And you're like, that's pretty fucked up. But you walk into someone's house, and there's a huge fucking moose head on their wall. And you're like, oh, that is awesome. What the fuck is wrong with our society? And on that note, I make closure.